Yo, what's up? Today I'm bringing you a different kind of video. Today I'm gonna show you guys how to compose. And I'm gonna share with you what I think about, what not to do, and what to do. So this is a track I made inspired by the Undertale soundtrack. More specifically, I was very inspired by the track called Bone Trousel. So now I'm gonna show you guys my step-by-step process for making video game music. Okay, so the first step when making music, and this is crucial, I say to you, this is absolutely crucial. First thing we need to know is knowing what to steal. Yes, you heard me right. When we are making a track from scratch, we need some sort of foundation to build upon. We cannot just throw ourselves at an empty project and say, okay, I'm just gonna play some chords, play some melodies, and hopefully it will sound good. I mean, that can work, but that's not the smartest method in my opinion. Because think about it. Let's say you want to write a boss theme. You want to write something that sounds similar to the Final Fantasy boss themes. Well, then you need to know what the Final Fantasy boss theme sounds like, right? What chords do they use? What melodies do they use? What instruments do they use? What kind of song structure is there? See, you need to have some kind of idea about what are you going to actually create. The more things you know about the track you're making before you actually make it, the better. So now I'm gonna show you guys my first project that I made for this track. So if it isn't obvious by the intro, the track I decided to steal some concepts from is Bone Trousel. So I haven't written down here what to steal, which I should have done. Sometimes when you're making music you don't actually do it in like a correct order. One thing I wanted to definitely to steal, drums are a big part of the whole track. If you listen to Bone Trousel, one of the most iconic things about this track is the drums. Cool, groovy, heavy drums, right? So I wanted to have something that is very based around synth drums. So this is what I came up with. While I did steal the idea or the concept that this track I made is gonna be heavily focused on drums, I did not steal the rhythm of the drums, right? One thing I like to do is find a piano version of the song I'm trying to find inspiration from. From what I can see here and what I know of, this track is played in C minor. But you see something about that, you see something odd about it. So one thing I noticed right away that I wanted to steal is the concept of pedal tone chord. See how this bass line, it just stays on that C, right? It doesn't go anywhere. So that's a concept I wanted to steal. I also wrote in C minor. As you can see, I just stay on the C. Okay, one more thing I noticed that I wanted to steal. Do you see anything, if you look at this, and then you look at the piano here, do you see anything odd about this little looping bass line? Do you guys see it? If we know that it's played in C minor, do you see how this looping riff has that flat 5 or tritone, right? And the tritone, it's not there, right? If we look at C minor right here, we don't see an F sharp or G flat there, but it uses that flat 5 anyway. So that's a thing I definitely wanted to steal, because the flat 5 has such a strong dissonance to it. It can either sound very devilish, but it can also sound very goofy. And that's why the Bone Trousel theme sounds so goofy, because it has that flat 5 that just is sprinkled here and there. And as you can see here, and if you listen to my finished track at the end of this video, you will notice that I actually have the same song structure as Bone Trousel. Okay, so obvious things I can write here that I didn't steal. The melodies, chord structures, and you may notice that I only have 5 plugins here. That's because if the track sounds good with some shitty ass plugins, then you know that the track is gonna be fire. I say to you, fire, when you use good plugins. Okay, so let's listen to the first version of my composed piece called The Sneaky Cat. That's good. Okay, on to version 2. So this is probably the most fun part. Version 2 or project 2 is about finding the right kind of plugins and sounds and instruments. So the first thing I did here is to thicken the bass, make the bass a lot heavier. So I combined 3 types of basses and made this sound. Let's see if this works. Now that sounds so much more epic than what we heard before, right? And then I decided to add some pads to make the track feel more alive and bigger. And then I added some more bass. Very subtle. And then I decided to make some very heavy sounding drums by combining different kinds of drums with each other. So here I combined 3 different kicks with each other to get this kick sound. I can also add that I did change the placement of some of these kicks, so it isn't just a loop anymore, it's more interesting. And then I decided to have some hi-hats, of course. And then everything combined. And then on the melody, I decided to combine this plucked nylon guitar with some synths. And it made that sound. I also decided to add some strings. All in all together, I decided to make a different sounding synth here. Okay, so we're not gonna listen through the whole version 2, because it's quite similar to version 3. You might be wondering now, but this kind of sounds like the preview you gave in the intro of this video. Yes, but no. Let me explain. Okay, so on to version 3. Version 3 is about adding those final touches. Removing or adding stuff that make the track feel more professional and solid. So what do I mean by that? For instance, do you remember the bass from version 2? You might not, but this is what it sounded like. So this is how the bass sounds in the intro in version 3. So this is the bounced bass, and here is the thing I bounced. As you can see, I begin this bassline intro with just 1 synth. So when the 3 layers of bass are combined later on, it makes for such a climax, so to say. Music isn't about making the song sound hype all the time. For something to sound very hype, maybe a chorus, the verse need to be less hype. Cause music is contrast. As you can see here, I also chopped up the drums. See? So it has that pause, right? See how much more epic that sounds? Then I added this effect, right? Do you hear that? That makes such a difference. When you're doing the final touches, you need to think very carefully about the transitions. For example, from a verse to a chorus, how do you make that transition feel natural? So that's about it. Version 3 and adding the final touches is about removing stuff to make the whole track feel more epic, or adding stuff to make the track feel more epic. It's about changing those minor details, and it makes such a huge difference. It can literally make an amateur sounding song or track feel a lot more professional. Okay guys, so now I'm gonna show you my composed piece called The Sneaky Big Cat. I'm gonna show it to you guys along with some Undertale gameplay footage. Hope you enjoy. Thank you for listening to my composed track. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, before I leave you guys, I really want to say thank you. And I really mean thank you. This channel now has over 1,000 subscribers. And that is crazy for me to say. And I really mean it. Guys, if you don't know, I've been doing YouTube for a long time. I think my first video that I ever released on the channel was in 2015. There's a lot of videos that are privated on my channel. I could barely play the guitar or the piano, didn't know anything about composing music. So yeah, I've been doing YouTube for quite a while. I just privated a lot of videos cause they are not that great, to be honest. Again, thank you for subscribing. I hope you really enjoyed the video. I'm also gonna make a Twitter account, so go ahead and follow this account if you want. Yeah, I have never really used Twitter, to be honest. I don't know anything about it. I just know that a lot of YouTubers use Twitter, so I guess it's good to use Twitter. Okay, don't forget to like the video if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to subscribe. And don't forget to comment something if you want to say something. Like, bro, you got some luscious hair. I mean, you could definitely comment that, and I would definitely heart that comment, because my hair is looking pretty good today. I'm an e-boy.